submission will be April and your second submission will be October. If your birth month is May, then your first submission is May and your second submission will be November. If your birth month is June, your first submission will be June and your second submission will be December. If your birth month is July, then your first submission will be July and your second submission will be January. If your birth month is August, your first submission will be August and your second submission will be February. If your birth month is September, your first submission will be September and your second submission will be March. If your birth month is October, then your first submission will be October and your second submission will be April. If your birth month is November, your first submission will be November and your second submission will be May. If your birth month is December, your first submission will be December and your second submission will be June. Once your life certificates have been completed and notarized, they may be sent via email to customer service at socialsecurity.kn. We are all about making things easier for you. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about life certificates and their submission. Remember, this simple step ensures that you continue receiving your well-deserved benefits. If you need further information about life certificates and their submission process, please feel free to contact us at 465-2535 or 469-5245. That's all the time we have for this edition of Social Security 5. Until we come your way again, this is Beyond Basso reminding you that we keep looking up for you.
Sure to be sure of your benefits. Sickness and maternity, I'll tell you about the rest of it. Survivors grant your spouse and kids get the best of it. Let me mention pension when you're 62. When you're done work hard and retire, this is what to do. Listen this.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their May 2025 intake and is holding a free information session at the Kuna Conference Centre, Wilkin Street, Bastair, on March 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB, accredited MBA and BA Business, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible. Reserve a place now at www.seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is Monday. It is the 10th day of March, 2025. How are we doing this morning? Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. To the regional and international diaspora, how are we doing this morning? Now, I stumbled across a news article, and at the bottom of the news article, there was a short, I would say, video with the current chairman of the ECCU speaking about the issue that has been making rounds on the headlines, and it says, that headline says, and this is from the St. Vincent Times, Antigua's Brown defends ECCB governor in $22 million palace scandal. So here goes.
Any comments on this? And by the way, has the board met as yet? The Monetary Council has not met us yet. I'm sure we'll have to meet at some point to look at this issue. But we don't have all of the information. What I would say here, clearly there are some governance failures there. And, going forward, we're going to have to strengthen the reporting mechanisms and the accountability mechanisms to strengthen the governance framework, because at the level of the Monetary Council, I would say we were caught flat-footed in terms of the amount of money spent. But I don't know that we can escape the responsibility. One can argue that we ought to have known. At the level of the directorship, I don't know the extent to which they knew how much money was spent. What I can say, though, there's no evidence that the governor himself had sought to be excessive, and certainly I don't know that I have seen any case of corruption also that would, create an issue in terms of undermining the governor's integrity. Maybe, perhaps, and again, look, I feel that at this point, until we get a proper report, we may have to set up some independent committee to look at this issue. I feel it may be a little injudicious for me to come to any conclusion at this point, other than to say that the amounts that were spent on the building has raised concerns, and many of us as Monetary Council members, we are concerned, but it may be a little premature for me to make any definitive statements at this time, other than to say that, the matter has to be dealt with and resolved, and at some point the Monetary Council will meet and discuss this issue. Okay. And certainly we'll have to keep the public informed as to how this matter is ultimately resolved.
All right. I want us to come back home now and look at the recent.
So there we have it, the chairman of the ECCU chopping it up, finishing it up until further notice. And I like the fact that he didn't cast the blame on one sole entity, but he basically said maybe there was a lapse in stuff, it is not the governor's fault, etc., etc. So I just thought, when I heard that while I was going through some articles yesterday, I said, yeah, this sounds fair enough. And until we get a clearer statement, this is it for now.
Yeah, I think his dealing with it is the way it should be, because, as he said, we don't know all the facts. And until we know the facts, might as well not elaborate too much on that, so I don't know. What he did say was that the governor did not seek this on his own, it seemed, and he was not, he did not show any signs of trying to be excessive in his post.
Yeah. Because
so it means maybe the board themselves decided.
Yeah, they gotta, as you said, they might have to get a committee to investigate the fact that they were caught flat-footed. That means something was amiss. So they're gonna sort it out, and then they, as I said, they can probably, we can just get a statement, and then we can move on from there. And
But he did say that the amount is excessive, which is why individuals seem to have a main concern.
yeah,
So
because as someone said, it started as a $6 or $7 million project.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, that is 3 or 4 times the amount.
Yeah.
But I guess things are going up, as we know, materials are going up. And I was also told that this project was started before this current administration.
I was told so too.
Yeah, so I just think as people, we just like to point fingers and say, it's you, it's you, it's you. We just need to just get proper information before we just go after people.
Yep, but aside from that, we still, like, even if things go up from 6 to 22,
It's exorbitant.
yeah.
Okay.
So people have a legitimate concern, but let's wait and see how it plays out, and when the information is forthcoming, how they will explain,
Mm-hmm.
if it is true that the first figure was 1 and then it escalated, they have some explaining to do.
But do you know the previous chairman was the Honorable Camilo Gonzalez for the
No.
ECCU?
No.
Before Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is the newest person in there.
Okay.
So when I looked at it, I saw, but it started under you, so why are you blaming? But hey.
Maybe again, it's about the amount. Maybe it's the amount. Because
So you think it's, but
because,
then
because
who
remember he said we're going
they were
through.
supposed to be paying attention, and if he was in charge, then he should have been paying attention. It should not wait until now.
Okay,
you understand, right?
That's a good point.
So like you leave it until, this is just me assuming, nobody told me anything. You leave it until now to look to throw somebody else under the bus. That's how I see it.
But it seems, I don't know, because Gaston said no one knew. He said we should have known, but we didn't. So somehow the information was kept.
Somebody wasn't paying attention. I don't think the information was kept. Somebody wasn't paying attention and things just went awry. Yeah, that's all. So let's wait and see, or let's wait and hear, or listen carefully, or listen out for the final word of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Sure.
Let's take a break right now and we'll be right back.
Found the sound 99.9.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their May 2025 intake and is holding a free information session at the Kuna Conference Centre, Wilkins Street, Bastair, on March 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB, accredited MBA and BA Business, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible. Reserve a place now at www.seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea. Remember, if you want to call in and air or share your views, the numbers you can reach us at are, in the UK, it's 0333 718-444-0065. In the U.S., as I always mention, we have two numbers. The first, 718-285-6984. The other, 305-921-4619. And our local numbers are 466-0989 or 662-0989. We are simulcasting on Channel 40. That's on the local television station, the cable. We are on Facebook as well as YouTube. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
Morning, Kortensia. Good morning, Quint, behind the scene.
Good day.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Good, thanks.
Yes. I just want to follow up from the conversation we had on Friday with the same matter. In all due respect, though, there was a building down at the Fort Lance area where it was the ECCB governor's residences.
Yeah.
Thank you. And looking at the one up there, the design is almost like spot on. So I'm all was for that. It's like most of you might have agreed that is the exorbitant price and where it's at, and has not been concluded as to it's going to cost $22 million. So it lay the fears of the persons throughout the Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean at least. So that is where the sticking point is the price. Irrespective of Mr. Ronstadt, because I did ask you that Kortensia, who was the sitting Prime Minister at that time. And then you did told me that Mr. Gaston Brown is the sitting, the present.
No, his son Camilo was the former chairman of the ECCU, and now Mr. Brown is the new one. So not the Prime Minister himself, but his son. The same son that the other report said that he told his dad, and that's why his dad wrote the letter.
Yeah, and he said like father, like son.
Oh,
so.
boy.
Implication was being discussed from father to son. There, no doubt about it. We need not to speculate that. But given the fact that there was a building, a residences here, and it needed repair, and they decided, the board decided, let's have a new location, and similar to the one in the architectural design and the like. I'm all for that. But don't tell me that it started at $6 million. And I have listened to conversation. I was in conversation where persons was trying to justify the $22 million, and it's a fast stretch. Because you would have crossed all the dots, the T's and the dots and that sort of stuff there. You would have done that and said, well, this would have been the overall figure. Give and take, materials would have gone up, and they would have probably have, where it would have exceeded the $6 million. Let's say $8 million, but not more than $10 million. Not $22 million, Kortensia. That is a fast stretch.
Okay.
So that's just my take. I drove down Portland, and I know that because I do tours. Most of our tour guys, the members of the fraternity, would stop there and point out to the building.
Okay.
Yes. And then now looking up, even on the Island Main Road going west by the Rams, when you get to the roundabout going west, you can look up and see the building and say, oh, draw your own conclusion. It is in almost the same architectural design on the ground there.
As the old one.
Yes.
Okay.
But given the modern technologies and security and everything, yes, that figure might have come to $6 million.
Okay, we are speculating, right? But what do you think could have driven the cost up to this amount? As I was saying, maybe materials. We know you got to dig a foundation. We don't know how rough it is up there. To do all of that, we know you need a retaining wall. We know you need all of that, gardening, etc., etc. Do you think because of the price hikes, all of that could have made it go up a bit?
I think all of that infrastructural work would have been in the overall cost, the cost that they would have agreed on initially.
Yeah, the initial assessment.
Yes. Sometimes there are some rough turf Okay? Like, for instance, I was told that when the whole, like, analysis, like environmental analysis, have not gone into certain programs and projects. Because over at the Southeastern Peninsula, when they initially started, like, you know, there was an attempt, a start on a golf course.
Yeah.
Yes. And the turf over there is solid bedrock. So when the excavator started to, you know what I mean, it's not like on Frigate Bay where you're going to find the sandy loam. So overruns in cost would be a factor. You have to weigh that into the equation of how you're going to cost, how you have done the environmental studies to see what the turf is and what the turf is not. You know?
Yeah.
And then you would have weighed all of that in the initial cost, providing you would have made reservations to say, well, it might exceed that by another $2-3 million, but not $22 million. That's a fast stretch.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. Thanks for your contribution. Yeah, the cry, it's a far-fetched. But as I said, we'll have to leave that until we get an official statement as to why. And we do hope that they'll come to the fore with the facts for us. We have a caller?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. The other hot topic that's been making headlines and making rounds concerns the visa stipulation that was mentioned by the U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. Mark Rubio, where they're basically saying for countries that have the Cuban medical missions, they're going to put sanctions on them where the government officials and their close relatives and then other officials, and it may eventually trickle down to its citizens. Visa restrictions. I hope that never happens, but as I was making my rounds, once again, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell of Grenada has his stance on it, and I would like to know our stance on it as well here in the Federation. So give me 1 second. Let me pull that up.
Receiving formal notification from the United States of its intention to sanction states and government officials which are facilitating Cuba's medical assistance program that has benefited most countries in the region. Ministry of Foreign Affairs officials in the Grenada capital, St. George's, have confirmed to Carib Update News that the formal notification from the State Department arrived on Thursday. It is believed that other governments in the region have since received this official correspondence. The government of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is expected to craft an official response in the new week, but there appears to be some defiance from the administration, whose posture is that Grenada is a sovereign country that will conduct its relations with other states without bowing to such pressure.
I think from our perspective, we are clear that we have a legitimate partnership with the people and government of Cuba, who have over several decades provided support to Grenada in the medical field. And I think we know what the realities are with our health challenges in Grenada, particularly for specialist doctors. And so from our perspective, we are clear that the partnership that we have with Cuba is legitimate, and we'll continue to support and defend the partnership.
Even before the formal notifications arrived, Vincentian Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves sounded not too worried about the American threats of sanctions.
When this thing came out and that third countries which may be complicit in what they call exploitation of Cuban professionals, and that they will deal with them with visas. They started, well, Ralph and Eloise will lose their visa. Strangely, they credited me because they know that I will prefer to lose my visa than to have 60 poor and working people die.
He defended the Cuba labor program as proper, indicating that his country is prepared to continue the long-standing arrangement with Havana.
It is said that the Cuban professionals who are here under the agreement with the Cuban government, they had to pay, I don't know if it's 10% or 15%, whatever it is, of their salary. No, Johnny P., I'm talking to the Cuban government, but that doesn't mean that they're exploited. They got a free education. And if they're going overseas making money from that education, it's not unreasonable for them to put back something in the kitty. For more people to be educated. Johnny P. We put our people on bond. The American federal government lend money, and people have to pay back the loans. A professional comes here and does anything, leaving to go overseas, they have to pay. They live overseas, they come and they go. They have to pay a withholding tax. Not only here, withholding taxes in America, it's in, I think there's a misunderstanding as to what is happening. Maybe some people in Florida who push in a line don't quite understand what is taking place.
When Carib Update News spoke to the Prime Ministers of Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia 6 days ago, those communications had not arrived in their capitals, but most expressed hope that dialogue with the United States on the matter will in the end avoid a showdown.
I think it's a matter for us to clarify the matter with the State Department and U.S. government. I mean, everybody understands how important the Cuban program has been and continues to be for many countries in the world, the Caribbean including. I do not believe that any public health system in the Caribbean can survive without the support of the medical personnel from Cuba. So it's a matter for us to engage and to seek clarifications. I have no doubt that common sense will prevail in our discussion.
Common sense with the U.S. government as it is now?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the reality is, I mean, we worked with President Trump in his first term. The Caribbean was adversely impacted by President Trump's first term in government, and I think it's a matter for us to continue to engage the Trump administration and people in the Trump administration.
The Trump administration has threatened to restrict visa access and impose limited sanctions on officials it deems are linked to the program, what it decries as a program of forced labor. That agenda has been driven by new Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who branded the labor programs as self-serving and abusive. Cuba's Foreign Minister, Bruno Rodriguez, lashed out at the restrictions, calling the measure part of Rubio's personal agenda. The decision to restrict visas for those involved in Cuban medical mission is the latest significant escalation in the U.S. policy towards Cuba since Trump took office on January 20. Rubio, a former U.S. senator and the son of immigrants who came to Florida from Cuba in the 1950s, has long opposed to normal relations with Havana.
All right, so we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Traffic Talk.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Babe, we can get up to 100% financing on a land loan with CIBC Caribbean.
Really? No down payment?
With 15 years to repay, it's so affordable.
Now we can finally move forward with the land we love.
Get up to 100% financing, half off the loan application fee, and up to 15 years to repay a land loan. Plus, CIBC Caribbean will give you $675 towards your valuation fees. Promotion ends March 31, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information.
It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join Azar Gums, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join Azar Gums as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And good morning again, and we're back here on Island Tea, and as promised, we have the officers in the building. It's time for Traffic Talk. Good morning, Sergeant Henry, and good morning,
Constable Bell.
Constable Bell. Welcome.
Good morning, Kortensia, and good morning to the audience, the listening audience.
Kortensia, no H, no K. Kortensia, yeah.
Thanks. You're welcome. This morning we'll be talking about drivers' behavior and the ability to drive a motor vehicle with courtesy and consideration for pedestrian and other motorists is one sure sign of a professional driver. Remember last week we spoke about road safety, so we're just in a continuation.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself a pro, or do you bulldoze your way through traffic? Race to beat a changing light, or speed through residential area? If you perform any of these unsafe maneuvers, you are a poor example of your profession. Traffic rules were established to minimize the road hazard, to give every driver a fair break. Racing through stop signs, speeding, and driving to the left of the center line are all examples of a poor driving attitude. In every situation, the right of way is something that is to be given, not taken. If the other driver is not following the rules, let him have the right of way, even if it really belongs to you. Otherwise, you will be gambling with the lives of your passengers and yourself. As I said, traffic rules were established to minimize the road hazard. So I'll stop here for now and I'll let Constable Bell take up.
Okay, good morning. Constable Bell here. Sorry, good morning, Constable Bell here. Yes, my topic for this morning, adding to road safety, is driving under the influence.
Never me, don't worry.
We find a lot of persons, they go out, they enjoy themselves, they smoke, they drink, and they don't think about how they get home after. And that normally is a problem for us, both users for vehicles and pedestrians. Driving under the influence of alcohol is an offense, alcohol or drug. So I would just explain the fines and the way that officers could presume you to be under the influence of alcohol.
Okay.
Section 40 states, any person driving attempts or in control of a motor vehicle and is under the influence of drink or drug to such an extent that he is incapable of having proper control of the vehicle, if convicted, can be fined up to $4,000 or 4 months imprisonment if convicted. And that's for the first
offense.
If you're a repeated offender, second time, third time, going up there, if convicted, you can be fined up to $8,000 or imprisonment up to 1 year.
Can I ask before you continue, is the imprisonment
And the fine?
if you can't pay, or is fine and imprisonment?
For the second offense, it can be either or.
Oh, so if you
For
can't pay,
first
you
or
take
second.
4 months.
No, it's up to the discretion of the magistrate.
Oh, okay. I
But,
just wanted to clarify
if
that.
if you're given a fine, then he will give you
Some time to pay it.
some time to pay. And
Okay.
if you don't pay it, then he would tell you, well, you're gonna be 3 months, 4 months, in prison,
Okay.
or 2 months, 2 years
Both fine and confined.
for the second offense.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So the fine for the second offense is up to $8,000 or 1 year imprisonment, or it can be both.
Not me.
Yeah. Also, you can be disqualified from holding or obtaining a driver's license up to 12 months.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're convicted in the second time, you can be permanently disqualified from holding or obtaining a driver's license.
Okay.
So, for those who don't understand, if you're a first-time offender for the offense, you can be fined up to $4,000 or 4 months in prison. If you're a repeated offender, you can be fined up to $8,000 or 1 year imprisonment, or you can be fined and confined, both the fee and the imprisonment.
Okay.
Officers, when they go on the scene, if they stop a driver, they can assume that a driver is intoxicated by the scent of his breath, the way he walks or talks when being interviewed by the officer. Okay? Persons are not obligated to give a test, a blood test, or alcohol test. However, if they don't, then it's up to the officer to arrest that person on suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol or drug, and find whatever evidence he needs to prove his case. Okay? If persons let me get the word. If they agree to give the test, then they would be
If they give
reported.
consent.
Yeah, they give consent. They would be reported for the offense. If when the results come back and they are found to be under the influence, they will be reported for the offense. So if they consent to give the alcohol test, they would not be arrested, but they will be reported if found to be under the influence of alcohol. However, if they do not consent, they automatically they're going to be under arrest.
Arrested. Okay.
So I would let the sergeant continue with our road safety.
And as we say, driving or being in charge, you do not have to be driving the vehicle per se. Once you have that key in your hand and you're behind the driver's seat, and the officer suspect you of being drunk, you can be arrested. Because remember, say being in charge.
Okay, so I come out of
A
bar.
party hour, yes.
Okay, a party. I come out of music festival. So I'm just sitting down behind the wheel with the key. But my designated driver is coming eventually. I can be in problems with that.
Yes,
Because
because you
it
have the
looks
keys.
like I intend to
right,
move
you have
it.
the keys
Okay.
and you're behind the driver's seat.
Okay, all right.
Yes, and remember, going forward, remember the AG had said when they passed the law on the 30th that they'll be doing the breathalyzer. Yes, so we'll be going back to the breathalyzer, and also you can do the blood test.
So we have the machines for the breathalyzers.
Yes, we do,
Okay.
but persons have to be trained to
okay.
use them.
Okay, all right.
So we're in the process of doing that.
Training to use the breathalyzers. But for now,
It's just
it has
The blood.
to check the alcohol level. Okay, all right.
Yes, and signaling your intention. When making a turn or changing lane, always signal your intention that the driver behind you know what you're about to do. You know, some persons like to just turn and then somebody right upon you, which you're not supposed to be right upon the person. But even if the person didn't signal to turn and you collide to that person, you are wrong. Because remember, I always say, make sure you have at least 2 car length between you and the driver in front of you. So even if I am driving and I didn't signal and Constable Bella come and collided to me, why are you taking me?
Yeah, why are you so close?
Yes. And persons tend to tailgate persons. You always have to have a room between you and the person. That if for some reason the vehicle have mechanical problem and you have to stop sudden, you have enough time to pull off.
Yeah.
And always be thoughtful of the ambulances, fire truck and police patrols on the road. Sometimes the driver of the emergency vehicle struggle to get through traffic jam to reach the hospital scene, scene of accident, scene of crime, or a fire. Yes, when the ambulance or the fire truck have on the siren, they blowing the horn, the lights are flashing, and they want to get through traffic. Pull over at the next designated area that the ambulance could pass. Yes, I'm not saying just stop sudden.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Make sure you have enough space in front of it to pull over so the traffic can flow. But some persons tend to.
But they had a whole PSA the other day with the guy pretending and all of that.
And
what
even
else do we
after
need?
that, they had an accident.
That's what I'm saying. What else do we need?
Because that was done, I think, in November. And I think February they had an accident where the fire truck trying to pass through traffic. And this person, they're coming through. And they collided.
Wow.
And just to add, from my observations, when the emergency vehicles are passing, some people who are behind the emergency vehicle tend to speed with the vehicle to overtake everybody when they're passing, and that is very dangerous.
But that shouldn't even happen. You're not part of the party.
And they have a sign behind the emergency vehicles to keep at least 100 feet behind from them when they're moving. But persons want to drive and speed with them to try to get wherever they're going fast.
Yeah. It's unfair and unfortunate because I really don't understand why we're not listening. We keep saying, oh, maybe more education, maybe more this, maybe more that's going to help. But we have to help ourselves.
We just have some person just ignorant. Yes.
But we have to quell the ignorance. To say. We have to quell the ignorance because that doesn't make sense. Oh, my gosh.
They mean they want to get where they are going and they're going to get the anyhow.
But no it's this far. And anyhow might be the last time you won't even get there. Listen, I see Troy Biff Mills have these things he says after his broadcast where he's admonishing the drivers. I admonish them. I'm sure many you admonish them on Traffic Talk, or we admonish them on Traffic Talk. They're not listening. What else do we need to do? Do we need to just say everybody go catch public bus?
And maybe the fines need to increase.
But it's not deterring them. Do you see the fine have increased? Imagine you can go to jail and still have to pay money. That makes sense? What? Being uncomfortable and then still have to give away money?
Some person think they're going to get away. Yes.
Because even down to the seat belt, with the fee increasing, persons are still driving with their vehicles with children not being restrained. But when you give them a ticket now, everybody pour in giving a warning, but the warning is us coming on the radio and educating.
Exactly. Every single Monday. I don't know what else we need.
Some claim they don't listen to the radio, this and that, but I guess they want us to go to every social media that they use. And even they're gonna still say they
exactly.
And even sometimes you're out instead you give a ticket, you educate the public about these fines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the fine is only increased to 5, but that was always there with buckling up your child or using a car seat. It's just that the fine increase.
I guess they didn't know it was in there. That could be their claim to it. We didn't know it wasn't enforced. The police let us have the child like this all the time, only because of the young infant this year. May his soul continue to rest in peace. They're making a big stink. So you know how we are around these parts.
Even after that accident, yes, the public was crying out. Yeah. So now they feel increase.
You try to please some, but some
we can't please. Listen, can't please human beings. We are a difficult bunch of people. Yeah. But we need to adhere in order for everything to go well and for us not to be lawless individuals and for us to survive while we're all using the roads together. We need to do what's right.
And that's why we should abide by the rules.
But we're not.
Just abide by them and then things will be better. Yes.
Some persons feel when the police come and they're giving them the ticket, because you are getting a percentage and the police does not get nothing. but the monthly salary.
That's the first time I heard that.
Nothing but
Y'all
the
getting
monthly
commission
salary.
on the tickets? So
No,
y'all
we
giving out
don't.
plenty tickets?
No.
No, but that's the first time I'm hearing that. I'm being sarcastic. That's the first time I'm hearing
People
that.
run with that. Oh, y'all trying to milk money out of us so y'all could get addition on your payment.
But you know the police won't have to milk money or take money from you or issue you or waste their ink if you do what you have to do. Yeah. So we can't blame the officers for doing their job. Oh boy. Sergeant, what else is on the plate for these drivers?
Being a courteous driver isn't a completely selfish act. It will make your whole experience on the road a lot more enjoyable. Sure, not everyone you meet whilst behind the wheel will be as considerate as you, but you can rest happy in knowledge that you are not part of the problem. A bit of driving etiquette can go a long way.
Yeah.
You will cheer up those around you, prevent other drivers from seeing red, and generally have a more stress-free relationship with car travel. So once you're not selfish in your act on the road, yes, you can make others happy around you. You don't have to bulldoze yourself around. No, it doesn't make sense. Because I have the right of way, yes. Sometimes we have the right of way, but sometimes we can have a little consideration for other persons. Because sometimes, okay, vehicle park on Bell's side and my side is clear. But Bell only have 2 more vehicles to come through. And you're going to go up on him. That is selfishness. Just step back and let Bell continue because it's only 2 more vehicles, then he clear.
Yeah.
But now some person say, okay, I have the right of way, so I'm going to go there. And I'm not going to move.
Yeah, block it.
And this is what we are having. A lot of persons tend to block the road. They don't want to move for the other person to come through.
Yeah.
And we have to stop this, especially on the project. Especially over Newtown project and then because you have a lot of people park on each road.
Yeah.
And persons coming through and persons coming through. And nobody want to stop. And everybody going to stop there in the road, block up the traffic.
But
that
the
doesn't make
person
sense.
that has the obstacle in its way, that's the person that has to wait for the other
but if
person
I am
coming
already
down.
through, as I said, only 1 more 2 more vehicle I have to get through. And I done pass about 10.
Yeah.
Just let me come through.
Yeah.
Right. Why do I have to reverse 8?
Yeah.
When I could just move 2 and then you come through.
We're very inconsiderate.
We need to be considerate and have courtesy when we are driving. And courtesy you can reach a long way. Being courteous to someone.
And just to add, not only just driving, but parking, because some persons, for example, we might live on the same street. You might have somebody visiting you, and they park in an area where I normally park to be home, but I come home and I walk out. But these people ain't from here. I can just park right here. And then when you look at the available space, maybe only a small car could pass through. If an emergency vehicle is coming through now, nothing could pass.
Okay, caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning. Are you hearing me? Hello? Good morning.
Yes, caller, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you hearing?
Yes, we are.
Okay, officer, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for what you're doing, informing and guiding us. You talk about courtesy on the road. Is the traffic department engaged in any way with the schools? Not just to help the children understand road courtesy and the significance of it, but courtesy generally. Because if I'm discourteous as a person, you can't expect me to become courteous all of a sudden when I have a steering wheel in my hands. So do you all have programs present or planned to engage with the schools so that our young people can understand not just road courtesy, but also general courtesy and at the same time identify in a positive way with our uniformed service providers like police officers and so on? Just a thought. Wow.
Thank you, Carlo.
Yes, Carlo.
No, but do you have a program?
Yes, sir. We do have a program presently, and it's effective. Myself and the officers from the traffic department, we visit the schools in our area. each school have a liaison officer, but being traffic officers, we more go to the students and try to educate them on the traffic laws and the ways to use the road and road safety, especially for the primary school students who walks to school.
Do you use the opportunity to try to encourage the children into courtesy generally? Remember, it's going to be difficult to be courteous when you turn on the engine. If you're not courteous before you do that. You know, it's like taking a football on a football field. He or she is not properly trained, but you expect him or her to play like Messi. It's not going to happen. But again, thank you for your efforts and anything we can do to get us where we need to be, you know, because I'm very frightened with what I see on the road every day. I mean, it's like madness and it's getting worse.
Thank you, Carlo.
Yes, Carlo. As I was saying, we do go to the schools. We don't only talk to them about the traffic rules or road safety. We try to discipline them, you know, encourage them to be disciplined, well-behaved, and we mostly speak to them to road safety, especially those who walks to school, those who have families that drive them to school. We try to encourage them to encourage their parents or whoever drives them to school to make sure they exercise all the safety precautions in terms of seatbelt, allowing pedestrians to cross when they're driving. So we do set things in place to help the children to be courteous when they're using the road.
And as Constable Bell was saying, yes, all schools have a liaison officer who go out and speak to the children. Yes, so we do it in the schools, and now we started at the college level.
Last week.
And as Bell was also saying about parking, think of other drivers when you park up. If you're parking your car behind another stationary vehicle, ensure you leave enough room for the driver to get out in case they return before you do. You also need to take care not to block off important opening like driveways. Yes, person tend to block person's driveway. It is an offense to block somebody's driveway. Because remember, the person must have access in and out. And doing that, it can be failing to comply with signal or negligent preventing the free flow of traffic. Basically, your vehicle shouldn't be anywhere that could make it nuisance for others. So when you're parking your vehicle, make sure you're not blocking someone's driveway. If it's a foot gate and the person can get out, it is okay. But if you're going to block the person's foot gate as well, make sure you park a little further down than just blocking someone from getting in or out of their home. Before I close, I would like to ask the driver to be a courteous driver. These small acts of consideration can make a big difference on the road. Driving is a lot more than the skill it takes to move a car from one place to another. When you earn a driving license, you are getting acceptance to a group of people who all need to work together to keep the road safe and efficient. Courtesy drivers acknowledge that we are all had to start somewhere. Think back to your L-plate days and give learners the breathing space that you would have appreciated at the time. Yes, sometimes we see learners driving, and yes, they are going at a pace, a snail pace, you can say, and you don't have any patience. You're blowing the person. Just give them a little room, because remember, you were at that stage before you become a professional driver.
Yeah. We all once were now.
Yes, all of us were at that stage. Yeah. Yes, because as long as you get behind a wheel for the first time, you are nervous.
Yeah.
Then after you get your license, everything gone out the door.
We use nothing. We forget all the signs.
Everything.
Yeah.
So being a courteous driver you can reach a long way with it. If I am having a bad day and I met someone who is very courteous to me, that can brighten my day. It will. Sometimes you don't know what people are going through.
You might even encourage that other person to be courteous to somebody else. You know?
Yeah, because if somebody gives me a blight, I give the next person a blight. Yeah. As we would say here, So, come on, let's give each other blights. Let's work with it. We're all going to get where we're getting.
A good example where I see that is practiced. Persons being courteous on the road is there between the airport and Monkey Hill.
The F.T. Williams Highway.
Oh, you mean?
Even if the officers are not there, which the officers are mostly there to assist persons with coming out. Even if the officers are not there, persons who are driving this, they tend to stop to allow maybe 4 vehicles at a time. 4 vehicles pass, and they would allow, so that traffic flows very.
That's
smoothly.
the roundabout that's closest to almost the camp.
Yes.
Yes, but
okay.
But
the road
that
by
is close to
the runway.
Ice area.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there. Yeah. Okay. Got you. Okay.
So that's a good example of being courteous to persons driving. Morning, especially at mornings.
Yeah, boy, because the morning traffic we know, and we have more cars and record numbers of cars coming, and cars still coming. What are we doing with all these cars? Listen,
cars are coming in, but cars are also being damaged.
Yeah, and then where are we putting these damaged cars? Because you see that nice little spot up there by where I think the bar is. It used to be called Taurus Bar. I don't know the name now. Across from the Moravian.
You're talking about the empty piece.
You see those vehicles are piling up there slowly but surely. You just keep seeing the next one coming. Yeah. Soon the whole thing gonna be derelict vehicles.
But then we'll get rid of them. Between we and health. Yes.
Get rid of them.
Yes.
All right.
So once you think you're gonna park your vehicle there and leave it there and forget it, like as you say, you put something on the back burner.
Yeah.
No, health will deal, health will step in, and also traffic to get rid of them.
Okay. All right.
So if you know you want your vehicle for some kind of part or something, make sure you put it in an area that it will not be towed.
Exactly, and it's not obstructing views and spaces that the average person can use for something. All right, well, folks, anything else to add, officers? I don't want to cut you off. I want you to educate before we close off this segment.
If a driver let himself get worked up, another driver make a mistake or fail to thank you for giving way to them, driving will become very unpleasant process indeed. Yes, so if I stop for someone to come out and then, something we're looking for a little thank you or whatever, and nobody do that, something I'll say, I'm not going to do it again. But sometimes being courteous, you don't look back for a response from somebody. You do a good deed, so you will feel good in the long run.
Yeah, and in being courteous on the road, we have to be real careful, especially letting out other drivers from the stop. We have to, before we do that,
make sure nobody's overtaking.
The person's lights, blink their lights to allow persons to come out. It is a good way, but not a safe way, because you don't know what the other drivers are thinking, especially coming from the oncoming traffic.
Yep.
If we are stopping to allow someone to come out of a stop, we have to ensure that both ways are clear before we indicate to that person to come out of the stop.
I remember Sergeant even saying, even if we didn't make sure the person that we signaled to should be the one.
Yes.
Yeah. Making sure.
But certain persons, they walk out, this person stop and they calling me out, so they just come out.
And the next person just coming down because
I do not, because you do not person like to overtake. And you're not supposed to overtake by a junction, that's the thing. You should not overtake by a junction, but people think, okay, I stop, so I'm going to overtake. Yes, as Constable Bell said, if somebody stop for you to come out, make sure that both ways are clear for you to come out. Do not just come out on the instruction from the person.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, if you get in an accident, you is at fault.
And just another scenario, where you stop, someone stopped giving space to if somebody want to turn in or come out, but a vehicle was coming from the oncoming traffic who they know, so they were lighting up the person to, say hi to them. But the person who is in the stop thought they were signaling them to come out. And then that person came out and there was an accident. So that's why I said the lights is a good idea, but not a safe one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, 'cause look at that. You're thinking you get a blind, but it's not a blind. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, officers. Thank you so much for coming in, taking time out, and educating us. Folks, people, human beings, let us heal to the information. We keep saying we need to be educated. We get this education every week, not only here on Win FM. The officers go to other radio stations, and I know we listen to varying radio stations. Let us be courteous, let us be kind, let us drive safely, and let us all get home or to wherever we're going safely. We're all expected somewhere alive, not dead. Please, let us be wise. Compromise, be safe on the road, please.
Thank you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Hey, have you heard about the water shortage in our area?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I've been trying to conserve water as much as possible.
Me too. I've started taking shorter showers and turning off the faucet when I brush my teeth.
Look, that's great. Another way to save water is to fix any leaks in your house.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. How much water can a leak waste?
A small leak can waste up to 20 gallons of water daily, which can really add up over time.
Wow, that's a lot. And have to check for any leaks in my house.
But another good tip is to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they're full to save water and energy.
I'll keep that in mind. It's important that we all do our part to conserve water, especially during this shortage.
Absolutely. Every drop counts.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Water Services Department. Learn more at water.gov.kn.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back on Island Tea. And coming up at 9:15 a.m., we have an interview with the creative economy. So as we await that exciting segment, I want to touch on another topic, or a next topic that I saw, and it pertains to intra-regional travel. And I saw the article on winfm.com, and Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt from Dominica, he was talking about intra-regional travel, and the headline for that article reads, Dominica Prime Minister call for enhanced regional travel, cites Nevis as an example for increased connectivity. And I'm just going to touch certain parts of the article. And this article is written by Kevin Brown, and it says, St. Kitts and Nevis has recently experienced a surge in air passenger arrivals, highlighting its growing appeal as a premier holiday destination. It says, despite the positive trend, challenges persist in interregional travel within the Caribbean. Dominica's Prime Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, has voiced concerns over the difficulties in Caribbean regional travel, using Nevis as a prime example. He suggests that, and quote, we'll never be able to achieve our desired objectives of regional travel unless the treasuries of the Caribbean community play a part, end quote. He emphasized that regional travel is a public good, and for a private entity to survive, it would be very difficult without government support and concessions because of the sheer number of destinations and stops. And there are times when, in order to enhance economic opportunities for certain countries, you must fly there. So he calls for strategic air travel planning. He says, take for example Nevis. Without a LIAT or an arrangement where government plays a part, you may not have an airline flying to Nevis. But Nevis is an important part of the Caribbean community, obviously being a part of St. Kitts. And so we have to ensure that we go back to the point of having a LIAT. Now, every time I hear this, I get frustrated. And I never understood why they shut the doors on LIAT. Because it was a viable entity. It worked. It just needed more capital. It needed proper governance, and I think it could have still been alive today. But I think everybody used the opportunity that it was a failing entity, and COVID just helped it further, and they were willing to just shut the door. So I'll continue along. He suggests that we need to have a strategic plan for air travel or air transportation in the Caribbean, advocating for shareholder governments to approve and entrust this plan to experienced airline operators. Prime Minister Skerritt added, and so we have to go back to the LIAT arrangement, albeit with better governance structures, a better strategy, and better resource. He also addressed the high airfares and taxes, as we know, and sometimes the taxes were more than the ticket. He goes on to say, acknowledging the high cost of air travel within the region, Prime Minister Skerritt stated, and quote, the observation which air travelers and citizens of the regions have pointed to us is the high taxes at the airports. He believes we need to revisit those taxes and see whether they are hindrance to regional travel and, of course, contributor to high costs, agreeing that sometimes the taxes are higher than the ticket itself. The Dominica Prime Minister questions whether these taxes are too high and whether they are being used for purposes other than airport maintenance and debt repayment. He said, unquote, are we shooting ourselves in the leg? No, I understand that to build these airports is very costly and you need to find the revenue to underwrite the cost of these things. To pay off loans and debt that you've accumulated with this infrastructure. But is it too high? Are we using it for other things, other sources of expenditure? And so we have to revisit certainly the taxes associated with air travel in the Caribbean. Now, we spoke about these taxes, and we know LIAT was once owned by the governments of Antigua and Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Dominica eventually coming on, being the minority shareholder. So now we're looking at exploring alternative transportation. Prime Minister Skerritt also addressed the potential of regional ferry services. Well, this is going for a while, as you know, between Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, and Martinique. We have had a ferry service for a very long time. That is in the hands of the private sector. It is working very well, and I think that a model that we should learn from. And of course, we have between Trinidad and Tobago. So how do we get to St. Lucia connected to Barbados, and Barbados connected to St. Vincent, and St. Lucia connected to Grenada, and then Trinidad? And so that we have this connection, and then you take Guadeloupe to Antigua, Antigua to St. Kitts, and Montserrat, etc., etc. So I think we need to look at this model that we have connecting Guadeloupe all the way down to St. Lucia and see whether that kind of model can be replicated. Honestly, I don't think government can get it done. I think it should be handled in the private sector and governments providing support. I'm going to read that again. honestly, I don't think governments can get it done. I think it should be handled in the private sector and government providing support. What do you think about that? It goes on for some other time, but
Well said.
but what is the strategic plan? We talk about this ferry. There was a ferry that was supposed to come since last year, August. It didn't materialize. That was supposed to connect Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, and other islands. That didn't materialize. They're still working on that. I think that's going to be done by Caribbean
You have a
Connector.
caller.
We have a caller? Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Kortensia and Quint.
Yeah.
It has been said that Nevis's airport should be upgraded. We hope soon. There's a figure that is bandied about by an investor, and that will somewhat set the facilitation for LEAC, what have you. Whether it is economically feasible, because as we speak, Mr. Roosevelt talked about water transportation. We do have the water taxis that does a tremendous job, along with the ferry that would transport those who wish to go over to Nevis. And they're doing a tremendous job bridging the gap. And there are other services, sea services, that will suffice for now until Nevis gets their runway rehabilitated. But I want to pick it back, though, because there's a lack of unity. There's a lack of unity within the islands because we're not just a one-off island, so to speak. For instance, we spoke about the ECCB and the 8 territories. There was a situation where the CBI program was on the thing, and Mr. Ralph Gonzalez took a unilateral stance because St. Vincent and the Grenadines are not a part of this East, the CBI. We cannot be doing that because we're going to need our brothers. We are our brothers' keepers. For instance, now Marco Rubio, the secretary, if he's the secretary, yes, of the United States, they are threatening and they are using the weaker ones. Let's say Mexico, Canada, Panama, Greenland, the EU. The Caribbean is the weakest link of all of them. So who's they going to pick on?
Us.
They're going to pick on the weakest link. Where we're supposed to be strong, we are even weaker. We're not taking examples by the other people, the other nations that are standing up strong to the bullying. Can we see anything collected? Because on the wider Caribbean, they're saying no, cut ties with China. But on the lesser Caribbean, because St. Kitts and Nevis, Haiti, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, maybe Belize, we start with China, Taiwan. So here is it. These are the things that are going to continue to drive a wedge between us and have us like throw our hands in the air and give up to the bullying. America realized that they could not bully China, Mexico, Canada, Greenland, Panama. So what is it? They start to bully us now because they realize that we are the weakest link, and we will fall for that without a collective saying no. Where is the voices? We need to hear Prime Minister Mayor Motley talk about the wider Caribbean when it comes to, whether China or the U.S. They have to be diplomats in their own right and say we are diplomats and we are friendly with nations. We can coexist.
What do you think about Deacon Mitchell's stance on what Marco Rubio said concerning the Cuban missions in our islands? That's his stance for his islands. We heard Minister Gonzalez speak. We know Minister Gonzalez loves Cuba, so he's not going to give up his mission, period. But we heard Mr. Mitchell's stance.
Voices would resonate, but it should have been a collective. What Mr. Mitchell said and what Mr. Gonzalez said, it should have been the collective of the OECS. They speak on behalf of the OECS and not just an individual. It could have been a stance where the OECS heads already come together and spoke about it, and Mr. Gonzalez would have resonated, voiced it, on behalf of not just St. Vincent and the Grenadines or Grenada or St. Lucia or whatever, but collectively on the behalf of the OEs, yes. But yeah, I appreciate what he's saying. But is it all inclusive? No.
No, just some.
And now Mr. Marco Rubio already heard it, and analyzing it and say, yes, we got them.
Oh yeah, for real, you
I
know.
mean, it's not collective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. But I see you mentioned St. Vincent not in the CBI program. I see, though, the opposition promises citizen by investment program again if they're elected, if they win the November 2025 general election. So, yep. So I guess they will be running on that and showing the citizens the benefits of the citizen by investment program once they win. All right, so okay, caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Good morning to everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm blessed in Jesus Christ. What about you?
I'm good, Greg. It's been a while.
Yes,
Happy
well,
to hear you.
Because, I cut off because Jamster had banned me, so
oh,
since then I decided I was going to call.
Oh, gosh. All right, Greg. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
he say he doesn't want me with my Bible stuff, so.
Oh, Lord.
Anyhow, but as a Christian, I have to come with my Bible stuff because that's where I stand. So greetings to everybody in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners from their sin and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, let me say, concerning this dust-up with this Cuba, America stuff, first of all, I would like to say that everybody on all sides are going contrary to the Bible. Everybody. America, we, Cuba, everybody. We all are going contrary to the Bible. Now, because we in the Federation are disobedient to the Bible, we are not in any position to be fighting anybody. Quite sadly, that is the case. We are not in any position to be fighting anybody. And I was reading a comment on Facebook saying, oh, we need to stand strong in Jesus Christ. Well, you can stand strong in Jesus Christ and at the same time be disobeying the Bible. Both of them are mutually exclusive. Now, what we need to do, we need to do that which is in accordance with the Bible.
Greg,
and
not to cut you off, we have a segment now, so you want to call back. Can we continue this conversation afterwards?
No problem.
All
God's
right.
spare life. God's willing.
All right. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much.
Okay.
All right. No problem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. How are you both doing this morning?
Okay. Can I get a second to jot down a few notes?
Okay. Okay, then we'll take a short break and we'll come right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Let's get real on WinFM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on WinFM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on WinFM.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
We're back on Island Tea, and as promised, we have the creative economy in the building. And this morning, the topic they will be talking about is We Village That, or We Village That. Good morning.
Good morning, Kortensia. I love the way you put that dialect in there. Yes, definitely. We Village That. And it's an event. It's an event that is coordinated by our department, the Department of Creative Economy, Cultural Heritage, and we showcase the community spirit within the different villages around the island of St. Kitts. And it's now the turn of Debe.
Oh.
Yes. And so my name is Alicia Daniel Blake. I am the Research and Communications Officer, and I have with me one of my colleagues, and he will introduce himself.
Whoa. Greetings, one and all, in the radio land, internet land, communication world. Yeah, my name is Vernon Shoy, a.k.a. Fireman. Yeah, we're here to really lift up the spirit of the people within the communities, you know, and it's a joy for me because I like to give and I like to share, and I just love loving people.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know, so we're going to see what we can do for y'all. Carry on, Miss Alicia.
Yes, indeed. And so We Village That is going to be taking place this week, Thursday. And it's going to be on the Debe lawn in Debe.
Across from the health center.
There you
right
go.
on the lawn in Debe.
Right on the lawn that they had that fantastic Christmas display, that one.
Nice greenery. Yeah.
And so we are going to rearrange it a bit. So anybody passing by will be able to see that we have a tent, and we are going to, because, you know, recently we have been getting some bountiful showers. So we have to, yes, we have to thank God for those because, hey, we need plants, we need to eat.
Yes, exactly.
And so we have to thank God.
So
and it starts at 5 p.m.
5 p.m., okay.
And we are especially inviting the persons in that community to come on out because we have a few awards for those notable persons in the community.
Oh, okay. So what is it? Is just an award ceremony? Is it something where people learn stuff about the village? What is it about?
I would say it includes all of what you just said.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because there is going to be someone who will speak a bit about the community. Going way back to let us know what Debe was like. You know, we mainly know Debe as a fishing community. But if you come, you'll find out quite a bit more about some of the outstanding persons in Debe, what they did, how they built the community spirit, how they helped the community advance to develop. And it's basically showcasing the contribution that Debe makes to St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
They mean the individual, the contribution that they made to Debe and the people living in the area.
Yes, indeed. So,
yeah, correct that.
Debe is an outstanding village, and so that will be showcased as well.
Question.
Go ahead.
No, I always hear in the word, like how you say, we village that, right? And I listening to the word. Is it Debe or Debe?
It's French. And I think maybe Kortensia might rattle it off a bit nicer for us. What's the correct pronunciation in the French of Debe?
I don't know.
Debe. Yeah, I think it's just that Debe. Yes.
Yeah, like that was the place to be at that time, you know? The colonizers, they come to the area.
I learned that was the first town.
Yes.
In St. Kitts. So when everybody's saying otherwise, that was the first town. You know that, Mr. Choi?
Well, I heard that. Yeah, I do a little research too. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mr. Choi.
Yeah.
So all of that will be explored on Thursday at 5 p.m., starting at 5 p.m.
Oh, boy.
So as I noted, there's a brief history. And we'll also be recognizing 2 young persons in the area who are already in the arts.
Oh, nice.
They're already contributing artistically to their community.
Is one of them Pierre? No, Pierre is not from Daybase, he's from Sandy Point.
No, they're in the primary school.
Okay.
Yes, they're in the primary school level.
All right.
And so we're going to make sure that all those who attend, once you leave, you will have a history of Daybase. You'll know some of the outstanding persons in Daybase and the contribution that the community makes to St. Kitts and Nevis as a whole.
Okay. We know Daybase is famous for its fishing, because we see when we had the sharks coming too close, we see most of them are being caught over there.
And I think they actually started a fishing competition. It was several years back, but I am not certain if they're having it this year again.
I think they will be having it. I think they'll be having it again this year.
Because I remember sometime they didn't have it there because of the swells. I think last year. But I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me. I don't know everything, but I think that's what I remember. Yeah.
And then we also have quite a few activities coming up in our annual calendar. And one of them would be Griot. And it is our storytelling event. And it's going to be happening the Wednesday before Music Festival. The one just before Music Festival. So that would be in June. And that would be Wednesday, June 25th. That is going to be our Griot. And just to explain a bit what Griot is all about, it's the first one was held last year at Shadwell, Great House.
Great House, I remember that.
And we had several areas. There was a children's corner, there were historical tales, and there were Jumbie stories. The historical tales were done by Leonard Stapleton. The Jumbie stories were done by Lachlan Tatum. And the children's corner was managed by one of our staff. That is Keisha Isaac Adams. And the event was beautiful. It was under the big tree.
Yeah.
And so it was lovely. And we are going to have another spectacular griot, as I noted, on June 25th, which is a Wednesday. And it is going to be up on the lawn of the Oasis Bar. You know, that's going up there in Oldwood, going up by Carabel Boutique.
Oh, okay, because I'm thinking, where's Oasis Bar?
Yes, so you pass Railway Bar, Railway Restaurant. You go up a little bit, and there you are, right there by
Right
Oasis.
there, yeah.
So it's across from Carabel Boutique.
Okay. That's where we have a little, looks like a little wheel and a tiny piece of a ruin still there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And guess what? There's another big tree. Beautiful for Jumbie stories
right
again.
There.
Excellent for Jumbie stories.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out if Oldwood had any Jumbie stories.
I'm sure.
We're going to try and get some storytellers from the area. And we're going to let you know exactly what went on there.
Oh, okay.
To me, most of the village them have a Jumbie story to tell.
Almost all.
Almost all, yes. You know.
You know about the one in Old Road?
No, I'm not going to go on the spot.
He's keeping it. I like that. Does St. Kitts have Sukanya stories or like stories, vampire stories?
Well, just the other day, I was reading something online about a cowfoot woman.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently, we had a cowfoot woman. She, whatever the story is, I can't remember exactly, but there was a cowfoot woman.
So she had a foot of a cow.
And the story traveled with our persons who migrated to the Virgin Islands.
Oh, wow. So, wow. People, y'all need to, what we say, Sankofa? Bring it back home. Yeah.
But there is a lot of story. When we're coming up as a youth, you hear many stories, especially you hear that a goat is looking for somebody, a fowl came on a plane to look for somebody, a cock, and all these kind of things, you know, coming up as youth. There was a lot of story to be told, and that will keep people from messing with other people's stuff.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean?
Like the Trini sound, cut a chicken neck for you.
Right. Even in Jamaica had a story about Mrs. Brown. Yeah, they walk around for Mr. Brown, looking for Mr. Brown. Yeah, in the casket, a moving, driving casket. Everybody have a story to tell. And people just be cool and just enjoy these stories.
Yeah.
And we'll have a beautiful time instead of vandalizing one another, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a good time in life.
We need something to bring back the coolness. And as I said, we in Guyana, we had this story called Baku, where you think about this short little parrot, ugly looking, bully looking thing in some combat boots that live in a bottle in the day and comes out in the night. Yeah. It's a weird story, yo. Yeah, very much so.
And something else that will also be happening, even before Grill, we will be resuming The Cook Up and Living Heritage. Those are two shows that we have at Cultural Heritage. The Cook Up is our live show, and it features various traditional knowledge bearers, that is persons who are versed in their craft. And so it would include calypsonians, storytellers, and it would speak about the 5 areas of focus that we have, the 5 domains as designated by UNESCO. So it would be persons in the oral tradition, persons in the performing arts, persons who do various things that would contribute to our culture. And so we showcase all of these on both shows, The Cook Up and Living Heritage. But as I noted, The Cook Up is live, and so that is the most enthusiastic one. And then we also have Living Heritage, which is the one where we look at the also the same areas, but in more detail. That one is pre-recorded, and so that is why it's more in detail, because we have more time to talk to the different traditional knowledge bearers. So, for example, we had persons who did straw craft.
Yeah.
We had a national segment, independent series, where we looked at the different persons who contributed to our independence, such as Idris Louis Visweg, who did the national flag. And we had the person who did our national dish and our national anthem and our national wear. And so this year our show is going to again focus on our traditional knowledge bearers and look at various acknowledgements and things that are current in our community as well.
Can I put a task on your department? We can go on YouTube and find every other island's food. Somebody showing us how to cook it, how to do this. But I Google intentionally for St. Kitts, and I can never find anything about us.
Well, we did showcase our national dish on Living Heritage. So, for those of you out there and for Kortensia, check out our YouTube page, St. Kitts Culture, and you will find it there.
Okay.
Right. And we also did Christmas cake.
Oh.
Dolores Hobson did Christmas cake. So, look at all of our shows, and you will find some of the cooking ones in between.
Okay. Mr. Shaw?
Yeah, we also was featuring a cookbook. What about that one?
Well, we did a consultation on the cookbook. So that is still in the developmental phase.
Okay.
Where we are looking at various dishes that we are certainly going to produce in this cookbook. So we are reviewing dishes at the moment. So yes, Mr. Shoy, that is something
good
that we are currently working on.
Yeah.
We started last year and we're going to continue through this year.
Okay. Are we going to include dishes from across the waters to our little friend or sister?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
They were quite present at the consultation.
Okay.
That we had, the initial one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can't, we're a federation. We can't leave them out.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
No. But for somebody listening, if someone is so brave as to start a YouTube channel and include our cooking, come on, put us on the map in that area too.
And of course, we also have our intangible cultural heritage knowledge transfer camp, which will be coming up in August.
And you have your dates already?
Yes, we do. And that would take place from Monday, August 11th to 15th.
Okay.
So Monday, August 11th to Friday, the 15th. And that is where we have our young people and we teach them the different folklore that are at risk of being lost.
Yeah.
And so those that we showcased the last time, that we taught them the last time, was string band music. We had Makajumbi, we had mummies, and we had St. Peter's actors.
Okay.
Right?
Don't forget the clowns. Everybody running for the clowns.
Yeah, the clown troop was like huge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we showcase clowns is not because we don't have a lot of clowns, because you're always seeing clowns. We showcase our clowns because the traditional dance is being lost.
Yeah, for real.
We have to make sure that the generations to come know how to dance in the correct way, in the sense that as sports would explain to you, the dance uses a lot of stomach muscles. It's not an upright posture.
Yeah.
It's more bent over.
Yeah.
And
from what I remember.
Yes.
I don't even hear the music that much now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
really
that's why we are teaching our young people the string band music as well.
Yeah.
And and not only the dance, but also the traditional outfit as well, because many of the clown outfits are very close to the body. Sports explained that if you have on a real clown suit, when you open your arms, you should be able to, and you hug somebody, the person should get lost in the amount of material
you have,
that you have. Yeah, so just picture that.
Yeah.
When you hug somebody, you can't see them at all.
Okay, before we wind up, I want to ask, do you think that with time, and this question is for both of you, that everything's changing and the average young person might say, man, want all the cloth, that's too much cloth, this suit done hot already. How does one get them to keep the mentality that you are maintaining your culture and you're showcasing what it is still in this present day, and there's no need to modify, because we're modifying everything to suit everybody now. There's no need to modify. How does one grasp that or understand that to keep the culture alive?
Well, I think there's room for both, actually.
Okay.
In the sense that we can't suppress change.
Okay.
It's inevitable.
It is.
And we also are unique in our different expressions as individuals. So while we would encourage that there be a certain segment of the traditional, then there will always be others who would modify and vary certain things. For example, if you come to St. Kitts, you should be able to get a taste, for example, a taste of conky at Easter time. But then there will be other persons who may vary their conky, and then you have a unique conky dish. Same way with our folklore, you will have the traditional clowns, and you'll also have those who are not traditional.
The new clowns.
But if someone comes to your country, they still should be able to find some traditional clowns.
Okay.
Right? So there's room for both. Would you like to add to that, Mr. Shaw?
I think you just say everything all about that, But tradition we need to keep hold on to our tradition. Because if you realize what happened with certain other tradition that come into your tradition, you overtake it.
Yeah.
And then you lose value of what is yours.
Yeah.
And then you have chaos amongst yourself and the other people. So let me try keep it, as much as we could. Let's try keep the culture right,
Quite correct. Yes. So we always need to have some elements of the traditional thing that we have had, and that is why at the Junior Carnival Parade or the Children's Carnival Parade, you would have seen some of our young people doing the traditional thing.
Yep.
The traditional makajumbis, the traditional clowns, the traditional mummies. You would have seen them.
Yeah.
And those playing some of the instruments.
Yeah.
You would have seen them and that is what we want to maintain. We have to make sure that at each or as many of our events, we need to have a presence of our traditional performers. And so we want to applaud them this morning, let them know that they're doing a wonderful job.
Yep.
And we want to, and I can't say any names or else I'll get in trouble, but traditional performers, persons who do traditional dishes, persons who make traditional craft, we want to applaud you this morning and let you know that we appreciate what you're doing. And although we, of course, must accept change, we still need to have that aspect of the traditional culture living here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah.
Can you say amen on that?
Anything else to add before we close out? Well, that's it.
Yes. Mr. Shaw, go first.
You know, I've been living for quite a while now, you know, and I just want people to, I am not here to boast, to show off, nothing, but I'm just here to, you know, as you see Rastafari trying to do their thing, but still we need to get deeper within. And when you see me, don't hate me, love me, because I'm not sitting down and trying to make amends of things. I'm moving around, I'm doing things, I'm looking around, I'm thinking, and I see life and trying to keep it together.
Okay. All
right.
Yes.
And just to let you know, we have social media at our department, and we want you to come on and see what we're doing, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. So on Facebook, you can find us at ICHSKN, on YouTube, St. Kitts Culture, and on Instagram, we are at Cultural Heritage SKN. So check us out.
Yes, please do. And thank you both for coming in and letting us know what is happening in your department and what is to come. And we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Are we village that?
Be the natural you with Fruta. Fresh. The juice with the great flavor. What? Not nice like Fruta. The best juice come from the nature. Where fun and flavor collide. Perfect thing for nice up the vibe. Live Fruta full, yeah, that's my style. With Fruta every sip give a smile.
Live Fruitaful. Look for us on the shelf with our new packaging. Enjoy 100% natural juice flavor. It's so fresh.
Live Fruitaful with Fruta.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media.
When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value,
edition. We are back on Island T. And Greg, if you're listening, you can call back so that we can continue our conversation that we started. On the international scene, though, I saw the Eurostar trains between London and Paris cancelled after unexploded World War II bomb found in the area. I'm still wondering how those are still even alive and around, and who is trying to scare folk. And then on the other side of things, I saw the USA was added to the international watch list for rapid decline in civic freedoms. And caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Yes, it's me again.
All right, go ahead. I summoned you.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to say is that, like I ended up saying, all sides are going contrary to the Bible. But if we want Jesus Christ, who is the Lord God Almighty, to fight our battles, we must biblically repent, get right with Jesus Christ, and start to obey the Bible, including, as I always say, which the Bible teaches, we need to privatize all those things that ought to be privatized, including our hospitals, schools, roads, and so on. You do these things, Jesus Christ will fight your battle. For example, you privatize your healthcare system. Number one, we won't need Cubans to save our system, because a privatized healthcare system can operate and will operate without any particular nationality needed to save it. And at least for now, what Trump is saying is if the government brings in Cubans, he would do these things, including preventing us from getting visas and that sort of stuff. But if you have a privatized system, and if any Cuban come in, they will not be coming in because of the government. They'll be coming in because of the private institution, which will not fall under what President Trump administration is saying right now with government, if your government bring them in. So that would be outside those parameters.
So you still don't think they'll go after the private entity that's bringing them in, though?
What I'm saying is that Jesus Christ, he knows everything even before he created the world, and he have all kind of contingencies in place for that. Jesus Christ is bigger than Trump, and he's bigger than America, and Trump ain't none for Jesus Christ to deal with. But we first have to get right with Jesus Christ. We first have to start to obey the Bible, because we are living in disobedience to the Bible. And once you do that, Trump and all the rest of the evils them will not be any challenge to Jesus Christ whatsoever. But at this present time, with our situation, with us living in disobedience to the Bible, we are not in any position to fight any war against anybody, because in the end we will lose.
But
so
the fact that we know these times, Greg, must come. Do you
go ahead.
Do you think that even if we employ what you said it's gonna work? Because the Bible clearly states that these times are going to come, and we're seeing it more evident than anything these days. Because, look, everybody's fighting against everybody. We see Iran says they won't have talks with the U.S. Because Trump wanted to talk, and I guess nobody wants to talk to him. And you predicted he would have won, and here he's winning. And as mentioned earlier, he's bullying everybody else. And because they're, like, standing up to him, he figured, okay, let me go look for these people down here. They don't really stand up to me anyhow. And he's here to bully us.
Well, you see, the thing is that we will teach a lot of bad teachings and doctrines in the churches and Sunday schools that we went to growing up. And one of the bad doctrines and biblical doctrines we were taught is that we are living in the last days, which really and truly we are living after the last days. We are living post last days because the last days ended in 70 AD at the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. And the Bible does teach that at some point in the future, the gospel is going to conquer the world, where the overwhelming vast majority of the people are going to be saved in Jesus Christ, and things are going to get a whole lot better, not worse, but a whole lot better. That is what the Bible teaches, because the Bible teaches the kingdom of God will fill the earth before Jesus Christ comes, and that Jesus Christ will put down all his enemies, as 1 Corinthians 15 teaches. Jesus Christ will put down all of his enemies via his gospel message before he comes back. But we were not taught these things growing up, because the type of churches we had, we was really filled, and are still filled with a lot of bad teachings going on in the name of the Bible, but which are contrary to the Bible. So there's going to come a time when, instead of things getting better, things will turn around. There's going to come a time that instead of things getting worse, things will turn around for our best and for our good, and the vast majority of the world, overwhelming vast majority of the world, will be saved. That is what the future going to be according to the Bible. Now, in the meantime, even before that time, in the meantime, the Bible promises us that if we stand with Jesus, obey the Bible, he will fight our battles. But he's not going to fight them, and we are living in disobedience to his word. As a matter of fact, a lot of the bad that are happening to us as a people are because we are defying him and disobeying his word, the Holy Bible. And as the Bible teaches, he used nations to punish other nations. And so I believe Jesus Christ is using America and other countries as well to punish us because we are living in disobedience to the Bible. And the only way out of that is to repent of our disobedience to the Bible and start to obey the Bible according to the Bible. That's the only how. And that means in all areas of life, including the economic areas of life, the political areas of life, the social areas of life, the judicial system area of life, in all areas of life, we need to get our house in order by obeying the Word of God, what the Word of God has to say in all these areas of life, which we are not doing. We are going contrary to. And it's only then that Jesus Christ would fight our battles for us. And Trump ain't nothing for Jesus Christ to deal with. He ain't nothing for Jesus Christ to deal with. But we must first be obedient to the Word of God.
Okay, got you.
Which we need to be.
Yep.
Anyhow, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your contribution as well. And here is where we have to wrap it up for today. So thank you for those of you who tuned in, who shared with us, who called. We are grateful for you. Same time, same place tomorrow. Have a productive Monday. Remember, nowhere in St. Kitts is far. Let's be cautious on the roads. Not only on the roads, let us be cautious at home, in our workplace, anywhere that we are. We'll all lead a better lives. Stay safe. Have a great Monday. See you soon.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Let's stop child sexual abuse. The age of consent is 16, yet our 15,